You know what's so funny? The blessing and the curse of having ADHD is that we like starting new things, we like having new ideas, and we like learning new information because newness creates novelty, or novelty creates dopamine. And when we're starting off something new, you gotta move from simple to complex. And so here's how to not overwhelm yourself with new information so that you actually stick to the thing that you're trying to learn and trying to do, and like the habit that you're trying to start. So let's take budgeting for example. We get hyper fixated on budgeting, learning about money, fixing our finances. Like, right, oh, I'm going to get out of debt. I'm going to do the snowball method. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And starting something new generates dopamine. And then we feel rewarded for doing the new thing. And so dopamine is the molecule of more. It says, do it again, do it again, do it again. And so what happens in that moment is we are rewarded for doing something new. And then what we do is we get into the hobby, we get into the habit, we get into the skill, we get into the new hyperfixation. And we're like, we had to learn everything about it. We had to learn this method and that method, and we had to understand this and that. And like, how do we do the snowball method? And how do we do zero budget based or this and that? And then we're so overwhelmed that we just don't do anything because we've learned way too much information way too fast. So here's how I continue to generate novelty and newness so I can keep that dopamine production up in my brain without totally overwhelming myself with new information when I start something new. What I do is I add variety. Variety is another form of newness. So, like, let's say I'm learning how to budget, and I say, okay, this is the type of budgeting I'm going to try out for the next month. The newness that I engineer is into the process. So maybe I wear a different outfit when I budget. Maybe I do it on a different day. Maybe I do it with a different candle next to me every time. Maybe I do it with a different playlist. Like, I'm engineering the experience around me to produce dopamine and novelty and newness. Maybe I go to a different coffee shop every time I work on it. Maybe I put a different background on my screen every time I work on it. But the actions, the process stays the same. What you want to do is you want to generate novelty and newness around the experience so that you're still scratching that itch of like something new. Maybe you drink coffee and you do it out of a different coffee mug and you're intentional and you're like, oh, I'm going to do this coffee mug today when I work on my budget, or I'm going to use this chapstick when I work on my budget, or I'm going to listen with these headphones. Like if you have multiple pairs of headphones, I don't know, or I'm going to wear this watch or this piece of jewelry. Like, keep that novelty, that newness as a part of the experience, but don't change how you do the habit until you've obviously learned it. So it's like maybe you always eat a meal when you budget. I always eat a meal. I get sushi. And so maybe I'm ordering different sushi rolls every time I budget, which is what I do. I try different sushi rolls and I eat them while I do my budget. Like, you have to find a way to keep that generation of dopamine production up in the brain. But like, you can't do it in a way of like, I'm just going to learn new information and I'm going to try these different things, because you just won't stick to it. You get overwhelmed. And so this is how you manage ADHD, especially around spending. It's like a lot of us want to spend our money to generate new experiences in our life, but it's like, okay, how can we find all the free things? This is now a tangent, but like there's just like there's the possibilities are endless here because we have ADHD, because we seek the dopamine, but we just had to channel it properly so it doesn't totally derail us.